Top 10 Best Romantic Movies, love is in the air as we near summer 2022. Love is also on Netflix. We've rounded up the best romantic feature films you can watch right now on the streaming service. Hey guys, welcome to your entertainment channel Netflix Tops, where we tell you about the top-rated movies and series on Netflix. So grab your popcorn and stay with us until the end of this video, because in today's video, we list down the top 10 Netflix romantic movies. So let's get started. Number 10. The British set romantic comedy About Time, starring Domhnall Gleeson and Rachel McAdams, is Curtis's third film behind the camera, and it presents an amplified version of the triumphs and shortcomings most characteristics of his work. There is abundant charm, as well as genuinely sweet-spirited view of the world. It is also dependent on plot turns that don't withstand much scrutiny. On his 21st birthday, Tim, Gleeson, discovers from his father, Bill Nighy, that the men in his family have the ability to travel back in time. If they find a dark place, clench their fists, and just focus their mind, poof, off they go. Naturally, Tim's first instinct is to use his newfound power to try to snag a girlfriend. However, after a summer of futility, wooing the visiting friend of his older sister, Kit Kat, Lydia Wilson, a still single Tim heads off to London to pursue a career as a lawyer. There, Tim meets Mary, McAdams, and falls head over heels in love. What's that? She has a not-so-serious boyfriend she met just before they cross paths? Tim can rectify that situation, of course. Mostly, though, Tim and Mary's love is sincere, born of shared interests and mutual regard. About Time is chiefly a comedic fantasy of wish fulfillment, an overstuffed casserole of cute riffs and beats structured around characters who unyieldingly exhibit ample portions of generosity and benevolence. Number 9. In The Theory of Everything, English thesps Eddie Redmayne and Felicity Jones play an art made from the stuff of fairly boilerplate romantic comedy tropes. Only Redmayne and Jones are portraying Stephen Hawking and Jane Wilde. He, one of the world's greatest scientific minds. Her, long-suffering but deeply compassionate and empathetic wife. The Theory of Everything is the story of the life they lived together, from their first encounters in 1960s Cambridge, to their years spent enduring Hawking's battle with Lou Gehrig's disease, to their current situation of amicable separation. The film so handsomely commemorates Hawking's contributions to his field along the way that one could be forgiven for mistakenly assuming that the stage belongs to Redmayne alone. But he shares it quite happily with Jones. In point of fact, the picture accords them both richly deserving individual attention rather than focus foremost on its leading man. While The Theory of Everything is warily mushy, it's earnest despite its formulaic trappings. Above all, it's anchored by Redmayne's and Jones's outstanding performances as they recreate the many trials and tribulations the Hawkinsons endured throughout their marriage. Number 8. Priyanka Chopra is now a household name across America, but in 2012, her clout extended only to those who were aware of Bollywood. One of her best turns of the decade came in Barfi, where she plays Jamil Chatterjee, an autistic woman born to a wealthy family who falls in love with the titular Barfi, Ranbir Kapoor, who happens to be deaf and mute. When Jamil is kidnapped and her fortune is threatened, Barfi is determined to do everything in his power to get her back. Part action thriller and part love story, Chopra and Kapoor deliver performances worthy of international attention. Even better, the story, which loosely resembles The Notebook, which is sweet without being saccharine. Number 7. Are you a fan of longing stares, swooning embraces, exquisite fur coats, and Cate Blanchett savoring her lover's name on her lips as she would an ice-cold martini? Carol has all that and more. Based on Patricia Highsmith's novel, The Prince of Salt, Todd Haynes' gorgeous period drama dives into the breathless romance between a glamorous housewife, Carol, played by Blanchett, and an unassuming shop girl, Therese, played by Rooney Mara, amid the beauty and oppression of 1950s Manhattan. Bittersweet and lush, Carol is a gift to be treasured. Number 6. Set It Up. One can never have enough Zoe Dutch in their movie-going diet. She's a treasure, multi-layered and even hilarious. Want her to throw snark to you? Want her to project confidence without haughtiness? Want her to pull off awkward with a side of charming without tipping the scale too much in one direction or the other? She can do all of that. If you have room for just one Deutsch movie this month, go for The Year of Spectacular Men. But if your schedule's open, fit in Claire Scantlin's Set It Up, a delightful, zippy, corny, and loving-it rom-com about beleaguered office assistant Harper, Deutsch, teaming up with an as-beleaguered office assistant, Charlie, Glenn Powell, to get their horrible bosses, respectively Lucy Liu and Taye Diggs, into bed with one another. Maybe they are horrible because they're undersexed. Maybe they're just horrible. Set It Up isn't exactly a hard read in that regard, or any really, but it's also a hoot all the way through. and Scallone's smart to hang the film on Deutsch and Powell's chemistry. Number 5. The oddly raunchy and thoroughly satisfying septuagenarian lesbian road film Cloudburst. Oscar winners Olympia Dukakis and Brenda Fricker star as Stella and Dot, a lesbian couple who have spent the last 30 years living the classically sophisticated good life on the rugged coast of Maine. After Dot gets put into a nursing home by her uptight granddaughter, her lover breaks her out and instead takes her on a road trip, promising, "We'll drive to Canada and then we'll get legally married, and no one can separate us." The film suffers moments of significant clumsiness, including distractingly sitcom-y one-liners. But the open road serves as a brilliant palette for writer-director Tom Fitzgerald to take scenic advantage of rolling hills and ocean. Nature itself becomes a key character in the film, the titular cloudburst, which drenches Stella and Dot in a moment of deep love and devotion to one another, serves as a sort of simultaneous protagonist and antagonist, celebrating and troubling the lovers at the same time. At its best, the film provides a venue for two revered talents to thoroughly buck the stereotypical roles available for older actresses and showcase their nuance and verve of their craft. Number 4. Jodha Akbar. Bollywood loves forbidden unions, be it religious, cultural, class, or otherwise. An epic period drama based on regal and controversial Hindu-Muslim union. Akbar, Hrithik Roshan, a Mughal king, is betrothed to Jodha Aishwarya, a Rajput princess, as an alliance between the two regions. But as their marriage becomes real, so does their love. Despite external forces trying to break them apart, Jodha Akbar excels in its opulent visuals, rich costume design, and original soundtrack, borrowing its sound from Qawwali's spiritual style. It's a portrait of a loving relationship in a trying, war-stricken time, and paints a picture of 16th century India that can scratch any historical itch. Number 3. Cold Mountain. When Anthony Minghella adapted Charles Frazier's gripping novel about a Civil War deserter from the Confederate Army and his long journey home to the woman he loves, he enlisted an all-star cast to bring it to life. Jude Law and Nicole Kidman lead the marquee, but it was Renee Zellweger's turn as Ruby Thews, the woman who helps Kidman's character survive on her farm as the nation was torn apart, who earned most of the plaudits. Gorgeously shot, with Romania mostly standing in for North Carolina's Hish National Forest, Cold Mountain also introduced the world to the glorious sounds of scarped harp or shape note singing. Number 2. For generations, this movie has held a kind of Yuletide nostalgia, rivaled maybe only by It's a Wonderful Life. But the funny thing about the Bing Crosby musical White Christmas is that the warm feelings it still evokes today are mirrored in its own narrative. The war is over, with commanding officer, a 4-star general unemployed, can't make a living at the ski lodge because even snow doesn't fall the way it used to. But when the stage doors open at the end of the reveal, the swiveling flakes, all the soldiers salute, leaving even us Southerners yearning for a snow-laden Christmas. Number 1. Julia Roberts and Richard Gere are a 90s rom-com dyad for a reason. 9 years after they paired up for Gary Marshall's instant classic Pretty Woman, they returned as the central couple to root for in Marshall's Runaway Bride. Roberts is off the charts charming as Maggie, a woman known in tabloids for leaving 3 different men at the altar, and Gere is swoon-worthy as Ike, a reporter assigned to cover the story of Maggie's 4th and hopefully final wedding. Their attraction and mutual understanding is romance movie gold. And you can't help but feel for poor Bob, Christopher Maloney, Maggie's 4th fiancé, whose sports metaphors don't stand a chance against the magical Gere-Roberts chemistry. And this brings us to the end of the video. What are your thoughts on today's video? Share with us in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for amazing movie reviews coming your way. And thank you for watching.